मेकॅनिझम ऑफ रेस्पिरेशन सुरू केलेला आहे. त्याच्यातला पहिला पॉईंट ब्रीदिंग कंप्लीट केला. आता आपल्याला दुसऱ्या पॉईंटकडे जायचं आहे आणि ते म्हणजे एक्सटर्नल रेस्पिरेशन. सो वी हॅव ऑलरेडी completed breathing and now we are starting external respiration. Now what is meant by external respiration? The external respiration means the gaseous exchange occur in between lung and air. That is called as external respiration. Now you are familiar with the structure or morphology of lung. The lungs are spongy, elastic in nature, and internally they possess a very fine air sac known as alveolus. Right? I have drawn here a diagram of this alveolus. What happens during external respiration? See, the external respiration totally depends upon the pressure gradient. That means always this pressure gradient is maintained inside this alveolar region of lungs. Now you are familiar that the human beings inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. Inside the atmosphere, the pressure of atmospheric total pressure of atmospheric air creates pressure gradient. But the external respiration, during which only oxygen and CO2, these are the two specific gases, they are exchanged in the mixture of gases. That's why it is taken under partial pressure. It is also denoted by P. Now what is partial pressure again? We can precisely define. Partial pressure of a gas means the pressure of single gas inside the mixture of gas. That is called as partial pressure. For example, PO2, PCO2, etc. That is called as partial pressure of oxygen in the total environmental air, partial pressure of CO2 in the total environmental air. And depending upon this partial pressure gradient, the external respiration occurs. Yeah? So now you are clear cut about the pressure gradient. Now you are clear cut about pressure gradient. Now see how this partial pressure of oxygen and partial pressure of carbon dioxide occurs inside this alveolus and capillary network. Now alveolus, you know very well this is alveolus. The alveolus is lined by a single layer of squamous epithelium. This is single layer of squamous epithelium. You can see here. rested on basement membrane. Internally, it is hollow, and actually the air enters inside the alveolus and goes out outside of this alveolus. This alveolus is closely applied with capillary network. So this is blood capillary. This is alveolus. Blood capillary is also lined by single layer of squamous epithelium rested on basement membrane. And you know very well, the squamous epithelial cells, these cells are thin, flat, polygonal in shape, and they are easily permeable. Yeah? In this diagram, that is exchange of gases between alveolus and capillary, which was given in our textbook, all these details are given. The details are such a way, this is the actual alveolus having alveolar membrane made up of squamous epithelium. Around this alveolus, this is a capillary present. The capillary is also having squamous epithelium. It is also called as respiratory surface, having squamous epithelium, capillary. You can see here. And through which the blood flows. Now here in this diagram, the blood from pulmonary artery enters and then blood goes to the pulmonary vein. So that is a specific network present in between pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein. Right? Through this network of blood capillary at the surface of alveolus, the actual gaseous exchange occurs, which is known as external respiration, depending upon partial pressure of oxygen and partial pressure of carbon dioxide. How? See, during expiration, the surrounding blood which is flowing through this capillary blood contains 45 partial pressure of CO2. That means alveolar blood. Capillary blood. Capillary blood. The capillary blood possesses 45 partial pressure, 45 mm of Hg. Hg. Always you know very well, pressure is measured in mm of Hg. So, during external respiration, especially during expiration, the capillary blood has 45 mm of Hg partial pressure, whereas the air present inside alveolus has 40 mm Hg partial pressure. So ultimately, during expiration, 45 is the greater pressure gradient or pressure you can say. 40 is lesser pressure gradient, or you can say small or less partial pressure. So air moves from this blood into the space of alveolus, right? And then this air during exhalation thrown out of the lungs, known as external respiration, or specifically the exhalation. For your additional information, atmosphere actually contains only 0.04% CO2, but we exhale about 3.6% CO2, right? So that is about the partial pressure, or how the CO2 is thrown out of alveolus from lungs. Now we'll go to the inhalation or inspiration. During inspiration, there is atmospheric air possess 104 mmHg partial pressure, PO2. At the same time, the alveolar capillary blood possess 40 mmHg partial pressure of oxygen. So there is a greater difference between atmospheric air oxygen and capillary, or the oxygen present in the blood of capillaries. So due to this such greater difference of 40 and 104, ultimately the air moves from higher concentration to lower concentration. That means from alveolus inside the blood. That means capillary blood, specifically inside the RBC. Right? And in that way, the inspiration occur. During inspiration, the oxygen from atmospheric air rush inside the alveolar capillary network. Right? For your additional information, atmosphere contains 21% oxygen, but out of that 21% oxygen, we inhale only 16%. That is the additional information to you. So in that way, the external respiration took place. We'll again revise in short by considering the diagram actually from the book. The mechanism of respiration involves these 4 steps or 4 processes: breathing, external respiration, internal respiration, cellular respiration, out of which we have complete breathing, and as well as just we have finished external respiration. The external respiration depends upon, or it occurs in between lungs and atmospheric air, and depends upon the pressure gradient, as well as depends upon the partial pressure. You know very well, pressure gradient means always gases moves from higher concentration to lower concentration. And you know very well, the partial pressure means a content of single gas or a part of single gas present in the mixture of gases is known as partial pressure. So atmosphere contains lots of variety of gases. In that, the human beings inhale oxygen and exhale CO2. So what is the part how much part of oxygen is taken inside and how much part of CO2 is thrown outside. That is called as the partial pressure. Now in our book, this diagram is given. In diagram, this alveolus is shown, in which the blood from pulmonary artery enters through capillary, blood goes to the pulmonary vein, and this is alveolus. Both of them, they are having the respiratory surface made up of squamous epithelium. You can see here, I have drawn here, squamous epithelium. So, both these, they are respiratory surface. Internally, the alveolus is also having moisture so that gaseous exchange can easily occur. And at the end, we have studied that the partial pressure of CO2 outside and inside the blood and partial pressure of oxygen outside and inside the blood. Depending upon that, this gaseous exchange occur in between alveolus and capillary network. So now here we complete 2 points of mechanism of respiration. One is breathing, another is external respiration. Now in the next video, we will go to the internal respiration and cellular respiration.